Dedicated radio show on 50-plus stations across the U.S. and Canada. And I'm a social media journalist is what I've been called in the past. A lot of people, I think, use that as an insult. I prefer it as a compliment. But what I'm here to discuss today is media for in the now. And we've had all sorts of people today talking about their experiences. And one thing that I do is I tweet and Facebook and ping.fm and all the different social things. There we go. We got a fan. Look at that. I do it 24/7. Now, a lot of people think that I'm just doing it to screw off and waste time. I'm actually making contacts with a ton of different people. A lot of people, good example of this, my little pals back in Salina, Kansas, they happen to think that I've gotten all of my interviews I've gotten over the years with a lanyard. I actually haven't gotten it with a lanyard. I've gotten it with this. Through Twitter, through Facebook, through all the social media sites. I've interviewed people like Dean Koontz. I've interviewed Eddie Money. I've interviewed Foghat. I have an interview on YouTube right now with Mushroomhead, a heavy metal group, and it got 10,000 views in less than 24 hours when we first put it up. The power of social media has gotten me this far. The power of social media, participating in LinkedIn discussions, Facebook posts. I tweet around, basically I tweet around the agents. I tweet around all the people that would tell me no. I tweet around the press people, all the people that are basically trained to say no matter how good I am, no matter what I've done, if I'm not CBS, ABC, or Fox, screw it, you're not getting the interview. I had a discussion one day. I was back in Salina a couple months ago. I was setting up for an interview with another band, and the big band that was in the building was Taproot. And Taproot's people, I had talked to them for 6 months. I'd sent emails. I'd done everything I could. And their press people told me, you're not getting an interview. It's not going to happen. You're an internet guy. You're some guy on Twitter. You're not getting an interview. Well, the day of the presentation of the Taproot concert, I'm walking around and they're getting set up, and the drummer for Taproot comes up to me and introduces himself. And he goes, "You're Jiggy, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I follow you on Twitter." And I said, "Well, look at that." And I said, of course, my next question was, "Can I get an interview?" And he goes, "Yeah, just go through our press people." And I said, "Ha, ha, 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 yes, your lovely press person, Julie." I said, "She turned me down." And he goes, "Well, you're here, we're here, you got a camera." He said, "Let's do this thing." So I then started finding this a trend. I started tweeting about my obsession, which happens to be hardcore pawn on True TV. And I find out a couple days later after I start tweeting about this, everybody on the show is following me on Twitter. And they're retweeting my tweets. And I'm like, this social media thing's for real. And my point being is that you can go directly to people. Social media is person to person. We've all met in this room through social media. Whether we at the salt plant later for the reception, we're all going to be meeting in person. But most of you guys I know through Twitter before today's festivities. It's a very powerful tool. And like I said, I've had people tell me in the past, "Oh, you're a social media journalist." Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Now, I've always heard you're a big fish in a small pond. Well, I take that as a compliment. Because one of the big things about this is that why go to the big city? There's all sorts of people. With me, my passion is radio. And there's a lot of people that they go work at their small town radio station, and then they eventually get to the point where they want to go from, I want to go from Hutch to Wichita to Topeka to Kansas City to make it to Chicago. Well, why go to the big city when you can have the big city come to you? I've had people like I said, I've had Taproot, I've had Eddie Money. One good little Eddie Money story is I used to have a cable access show in Salina called Jiggy Jag TV. Who would have thought of that title? And we did a skit one time where my co-host insulted Eddie Money. Talked about how he was sick and tired of Eddie Money. What is the deal with him singing about all of his songs about water? What is going on with Eddie Money? And when I interviewed Eddie Money in Junction City 2 or 3 years later, I, of course, didn't bring that up. But what was great was that video had been pulled off YouTube by Eddie Money's press people because they deemed it a terroristic threat. Now, when I got done with Eddie Money, he signed an autograph for me, took a picture, and as I was leaving the bus, he goes, "Hey, Jiggy, man, come here." He goes, "I don't care what anybody says. I thought that video was frickin' hilarious." And I'm like, oh my God, you just seen some dumb little video that we put up with, I think we took it with like some little BS Canon camera that prehistoric by standards of today. But I just thought that was amazing. And that's the one thing I want you guys to take away from this conference. And when you guys are out there tweeting and Facebooking and LinkedIn, and I'll get a cheap pop again, ping.fming, and you know, take this away. It's person-to-person contact. I had someone a few years ago, one of my bosses told me when I was first putting up a website, this was in the year 2000, I had a boss come to me and he told me that this internet thing is a fad, it'll be gone in 2 years. And no one wants to listen to radio on the internet. And I said, well, that's cool. But I said, someday we're going to be watching YouTube videos. Or we're going to be watching video. I wish I would have said YouTube videos. I'd be making a bank doing that. I would have copied that term. But I said, we're going to be watching videos. And he goes, nobody wants to sit in front of their computer watching videos all day. And I'm proud to say now that I'm able to have people that watch my YouTube videos. And I'm proud that I've managed to do things. You know, Cody in attendance here today, one of my good buddies, started What's Up Hutch, and pretty much everybody told him, you know, oh, you're an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And the Hutch News turns around and buys it from him. So I think it's amazing the power of social media, the power of the internet, and you guys here today are captains of that. And I thank you guys, and I appreciate it, and thanks for allowing me to speak today.